everyone, and welcome back to Pepper's Pages. I'd like to say first off, sorry if the sound quality isn't that great. As you can tell, I have recently moved again, and all of my recording equipment is still packed up. I'm trying to go through everything, so if I'm talking way too loud or if you can hear the air, I'm sorry. I just wanted to do a little life update and a quick book review. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. I say that like I've ever been really consistent on this channel. I mostly post on TikTok, but I'm kind of getting worn down on that. I feel like every time I try it on there, it just doesn't really go anywhere, and I feel far more comfortable on YouTube. So until I get my camera and my recording equipment, we're just gonna have to film. Some pretty big things have happened in my life since the last time I put up a actual video. I believe that was probably middle of last year, right after I moved into my last apartment. As you can see, I am definitely a planet now. I am currently a little over 8 months pregnant. This is my first child. I'm having a boy, and his name is going to be Theodore Lee. All of us are very, very excited for him to get here. He's going to be due sometime in October. I am very ready for him to be here. I've enjoyed this pregnancy, and luckily enough, I've been very thankful and lucky that it has gone as smoothly as it has so far. Knock on wood that it continues to do so. I do plan on introducing him at least once on my channel, probably when he's a little bit older, but you won't see much of him because I plan on keeping him private. As a baby, he won't have any way to consent to his presence being put online. So anything I post will be exclusively for family. So, you know, we're excited. I know I'm definitely ready for him to be here and to see how this is all gonna go. Obviously, there will be a bit of a break between me posting after I have him, but I am gonna try and be a little more consistent. Probably not like every week or anything, but at least once or twice a month, because I do enjoy making these videos, and I think that we'll be able to set up a nice little routine where I can film something and then edit it while he's sleeping or something. So we'll see how that goes, but I do want to be just a little bit more consistent in posting because I have really missed doing this, and I feel like I say that in every video, but now things feel a lot different than they have. So I'm very excited. But other than that, that's the biggest change that has happened in my life other than moving. I'm probably going to change my background a little bit, have some different spots to film in, so I'm excited to set that up. The area where I'm going to be filming mostly is crowded with baby items and boxes and things like that that I have not been able to get to, so it'll probably be a little while before that gets set up, but I'm ready to have my mic back because it feels really weird talking and not having it right next to me to know that I'm not like screaming at the camera. So the book that I wanted to talk about today is called When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, and I really hope that you can see it from that far away. If you've watched my videos before, whether that's on TikTok or YouTube, you know that I am a very big Nat Cassidy fan. I actually started off with Mary, An Awakening of Terror. I found that years ago, right after he released it, in a little bookstore that I love going to, and actually haven't been to in a long time, but they actually opened up a second location in the town that I live in. So that's been really exciting, being able to visit them a bit more often. I don't know a whole lot about Nat Cassidy still, like personally. I do know that he has done a lot more than just the 3 books that he's written. I haven't looked that deep into him, but anytime I see his name pop up in a bookstore, and it's always at random when I'm like, man, I really need a good book to read, he will appear at random. So Mary, An Awakening of Terror is a fantastic debut novel. If you haven't read it, the cover for it is absolutely amazing. It is all drawn. It's kind of buried up here. I have it up there, but I'm not going to dig it out right now because I have too many trinkets that need to be organized. But it's a very interesting novel. based around a woman who has several mental health things that she's working through. I don't know the best way to word that. And she's also dealing with menopause and a lot of childhood trauma. Wonderful book. I think it's probably one of the better written, like, female driven books that's written by a male. I guess that's the best way to put that. The second one is Nestlings, which is kind of a play on Rosemary's Baby, except there's a pretty big twist that changes it, other than just the characters' disabilities, which I won't get into because it's a spoiler. I have read Rosemary's Baby by Ira Levin, and I read that after I read Nestlings, and there are a lot of things that you could compare between the two, but I love that Nestlings is still its own, like, original thing, because even though a lot of it feels the same, he switches it up quite a bit, and by the end you're just like absolutely petrified for this woman. I mean, you are for Rosemary as well, but in a more modern way, I guess. But when the wolf comes home, honestly, I was not expecting to get another Nat Cassidy book. I feel like Nestlings came out last year, or at least I found it last year, and I read through that in a snap. I read through Mary in a snap, and I would like to reread that. This one I ate through so quickly. The only thing that kept me from reading it any faster is the fact that I've been working double shifts and have not had a whole lot of time to just sit down and read. But this one had my attention from the very beginning. We followed Jess, who is having a really rough night after working a graveyard shift at a diner that she works at. This poor girl absolutely goes through it. After she gets home that night and she's just having the worst night, this little boy shows up outside of her apartment, and his dad is not far behind him, and a lot of chaos ensues, and basically what seems like it's going to be just a werewolf story, which is not something I typically would pick up. So I was kind of hesitant whenever I saw that it was going to be a werewolf story, because it's just not my cup of tea personally. I'm very glad that I didn't let that stop me, because this is not just a werewolf story. This, and I think that one of the blurbs says this too, but I felt it from the beginning, it honestly feels like a Twilight Zone story. It's not just solely a werewolf story. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this without giving a whole lot away, because it's best to go into this completely blind. I feel like if I had known a lot about it, it might have ruined a little bit, but there's just so much that happens in this. So essentially, the dad, and this isn't really a big spoiler, turns into a werewolf and kind of chases them across the country. They're trying to survive and get away, and everyone they come in contact with just does not have the best time ever. Things go really, really bad for everyone involved in the story, including Jess and the little boy. But there's more to this little boy than meets the eye, and Jess quickly learns that, and it becomes an even more like terrifying experience. In this, they are being followed by an FBI agent, I guess you could call him. He's doing his best to, I guess, be promoted into like the Area 51 type department that's part of the FBI that's never talked about. They handle the weird cases that are in this situation. And he does not have a very happy ending as well. But I really loved this book, honestly. Just the crazy things that happen. There are characters that pop up in this that you would not expect. Like, if you've ever seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, there are characters from that movie that show up in this book, and I was not expecting it. I was laying in bed one night really late reading, and just I had to put the book down for a minute because I was like, wait, where is this going? But it's honestly petrifying. Like, the characters, even though they don't fit in this book, they really added to it. They added to the terror of that one little section that they were a part of. I think that the ending was really, really well done, as sad and horrific as it is for everyone involved. I was not expecting it to end the way that it does. I thought that maybe Jess and the little boy could have a happily ever after, but it doesn't end that way. And I wish that I could go into more detail, but like I said, the less you know about this book going into it, the better. This was really fantastic. I've honestly not been let down by Nat Cassidy in the 3 books that I have read by him so far. I'm excited for his next one. I was really worried at first picking this one up because a lot of the times when you find an author that you really like, they kind of taper off after a while, but he has not been one. I think that Nestlings probably wasn't his strongest, and in order of my favorite books of his, I would have to say it would be Mary and Awakening Terror. This one, When a Wolf Comes Home, technically the full title is When the Wolf Comes Home, No One Will Be Spared, and then Nestlings after that. Overall, fantastic book. I highly, highly recommend it. If you have not read Nat Cassidy yet and you want to find somewhere to start, I honestly would recommend Mary first, but I think that's just because it's my favorite book. If you're into werewolves and like the more weird aspect of horror, I would go with this one for sure. If you've ever seen Rosemary's Baby and you're comfortable, or you're more comfortable with reading something that you're more familiar with first, then go with Nestlings. This one really just blew my mind, and it seems like Nat has very specific themes that he has for each book, and this one covers a lot of like childhood trauma and overt fear in someone's life, whether they want that fear to be controlling them or not. There's a lot of I don't want to call it daddy issues, but that's basically what it is. Just like trauma with a specific parent, because in this, a lot of her problems stem from her father. So just a heads up, that is a big, big part of this book. It is also heavy on the body horror and its descriptions. I'm very into that, so it didn't bother me too much when it comes to the body horror. And it really wasn't as like graphic as I was expecting, because he does have like a content warning at the beginning, and it wasn't nearly as bad as I was expecting it to be, because there are times that it can be pretty gratuitous in some books, but this wasn't anything that I would be like, hey, you know, it may make you sick. It might. I mean, it just depends on the level that you're looking for and are used to. So anyway, I'll continue babbling about this if I don't quit now, but definitely recommend Nat Cassidy. Definitely recommend When the Wolf Comes Home. Just to give you a better look at the cover, hopefully you can see that. There are a lot of blurbs all over this, but it's like a really fantastic book. I don't think that even the back gives you a good like idea of what's coming for you, but yeah. If you have any interest in Nat Cassidy, I highly suggest this book. If you've seen it around, grab it. It is very worth it, and I very much look forward to the next one that he releases. If you have read Nat Cassidy before, any of his books, if you are familiar with any of his other work that you might want to suggest, please do so. But that's all I have for now. So as always, thank you for watching. I hope you all are having a great day, an even better week, and until next time, happy reading.